Nobody's listening, right? Hi, Andy.
Hello.
I'm so your hair looks amazing today.
Oh, great.
It's a little wild.
Okay.
But fitting for this kind of day, I guess.
All right, let's go.
Very excited to talk to you for an hour as though no one's listening. Is anyone listening?
Yeah, this comes from Kel Slays. Great handle, by the way. Joyful listener. What a delightful, insightful, all-around good time.
Hey.
Sad I'm out of episodes to binge, but love the excitement of seeing a new ep in my feed. Thanks to St. Monica.
Oh my God, I got it this time. I'm so proud of myself.
For introducing me, and thanks to Elizabeth and Andy for the laughs, tears, and ahas. I'm so often on the exact same page as Elizabeth.
Yes, I was hoping.
It brings me so much joy and comfort to know someone thinks so much like me.
Oh, Kels, we're two peas in a pod.
Love it.
I love it too. Thank you for that.
And hey, if you need some more stuff to listen to, if you're out, we have a new daily podcast called Nobody's News that you could get a daily dose of us if you need it.
Oh my God. Okay. On that note, I have to play you something, Andy.
I'm ready.
Multiple listeners reached out and said, do you know that you had this conversation 8 years ago?
Of doing a show like this, you mean?
Of doing I'm going to play this clip.
Yeah.
It's from Totally Married, episode 312. Now, all of our back episodes are on Patreon, patreon.com/nobodyslisteningright.
Look at us.
And so some amazing patrons who had been back listening said, oh my God. And it's eerie. Can I play this clip for you?
Yes.
Do you think it'll sound okay?
Just put it up to the mic.
Okay.
Andy and I mean, what if we did one podcast literally every morning and made enough money to hire someone to upload and do all the back end stuff? So we just sat down for an hour every morning.
Well, no, it's not that. It would have, listen, that's a beautiful fantasy, but what if there was a world, listeners, is there a world that you would want us every day? And no, we'd have to record it. We'd have to produce it. We'd have to upload it. It would take up most of our day, to be honest.
God.
And the other things, the hour a day is a fantasy, but
Why
maybe
is
that
that
would
a
be
fantasy?
fun. Maybe that would be fun.
Why would that be a fantasy?
If we had somebody on staff.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, down the road.
And so I want to ask, the ideas that I've been having are extraordinary stories from people, or similar to my favorite murder, if I found an amazing story to tell Andy about, and then the next week it was the other way. The only thing
Or should we just have a daily podcast? What does a daily podcast with you and me look like?
Well, this is the issue that I'm bumping up against.
Not that many people are doing the daily podcast.
Probably for good reason. I want to avoid it just being us. This podcast is enough of us just talking about what's going on in our life.
What
or
if
what
we're
thinking
just where you
about.
get your news every day? What if we're just your morning commute?
So now we're
What
journalists?
if we're just the morning zoo?
And look at us now. We definitely don't have anyone on staff helping us. And we are doing it daily.
Yeah.
But it's been a week, and so far it's been such a blast.
So much fun. But isn't that crazy because in our minds, you came up with this idea 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And we fast-tracked it, baby. And just got it up off the ground, and we're going for it.
It had been percolating.
If it's been in there for 8 years, isn't it crazy when they said that, I was like, no, there's no way.
Yeah.
And it is exactly what we're talking about, bringing news stories to each other every day.
It's kind of weird.
It's weird.
Or maybe it's not weird at all, where you just have
Is
the
it
worst
manifesting?
memory. Or we have the worst memories of all time.
No, we don't. Actually, recently I was at dinner with friends, and one friend was telling a story about the other friend, and she was like, that wasn't me.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm so sorry to tell you this, but Andy and I were talking about this very podcast 8 years ago on our podcast, and neither of us have any recollection of this ever being at the seed. So memories are not to be trusted.
You've heard it here first. One last shill for our brand new show. If you enjoyed hearing my parents on, was it last week's episode?
Yeah.
Go check out Nobody's News episode from Friday. The title was "The Brits Are Going Bananas, field correspondent Malcolm checks in." Go check out that episode. Might be a great place for you to start.
Very
and there's
fun.
a adorable check-in from my folks in that episode.
And we're going to have a weekly segment with them.
I think so.
Oh my God. So we had such a fun weekend day happened to us.
Oh,
We've entered a new era that I am so jazzed about, Andy. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it might be like a 2 steps forward, 1 step back situation. But the era we entered is that of just dropping our kids off at birthday parties.
yeah. No, how silly that we didn't even realize we were in that era.
I know.
We
And our
looked like
kids are 9 and
idiots.
10. We showed up ready. So it was very cute. The birthday girl was having a little movie screening at a little movie theater.
So cool.
And it was adorable. And we showed up ready to watch a movie. And also like a movie neither you nor I are that excited to watch. But it's fun
No,
to
I don't know. I need to give you some backstory. It's a cool movie. And also
Just say what it is.
Spirited Away,
Okay.
Studio Ghibli movie. Now, I had bumped into the mom maybe 3 or 4 days ago, and I was asking, like, do the parents get to stay? So she might have gotten the impression from me that we wanted to stay too. I just want you
this
to
is
know
so
that.
embarrassing.
It makes it a little bit more embarrassing. But
Because we showed up ready to, but it's a tiny little theater. And it turns out like they were kind of at capacity. So she was a little nervous about us staying almost. And now that gives me more context
Yeah.
because she thought they didn't have enough seats.
she wanted to accommodate us because she thought we wanted to stay, where
And
then we
also-
see all these parents just dropping their kids off, and we're like, oh, people are just getting rid of their kids?
We can drop them off.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think we can expect every birthday party from here on out to be a drop off situation. But
I'm thinking 90% though.
now, recently, yes, I think you're right. We're entering a gray area though, because recently there was a play date here, and I thought it was going to be a drop off situation, and it wasn't.
But that was for our younger kid.
It was for a younger kid, but it took me by surprise, and it was lovely.
Yeah.
But also, it was 3 hours that I wasn't aware.
You thought you were going to be folding laundry,
Yes.
doing housework,
Whatever bullshit I needed to do.
but it ends up you were chit-chatting for 3 hours.
Exactly.
Yes,
And
that's
like
different.
Yeah, different texture to my day. But anyway, this was a gift, and it was like,
I really don't like when you say texture to your day.
why not?
I think this happened like a few months ago, and maybe I even like tried to kill it then. There's just something uppity about it or something.
I love texture.
I know. I don't like it.
Well,
We'll move on. I'll move on. I'll get over it. Or I don't think I will, actually. I think we've talked about texture before.
okay. Can I tell you something I don't like that you do constantly?
What? Tell me. Constantly. Careful with those words.
Well, you don't like texture. Just while we're sitting here saying things we don't like, you say "if you will" all the time.
Give me it in a sentence, please, if you will.
Like I went and got some chips and some salsa and, that sort of thing, if you will. That's not a good example, but you'll say "if you will," and I always say "I will," because it's just a turn of phrase that is in there.
Well, tough shit, I guess, for both of us, right?
Yeah, I
you
guess.
like texture. Apparently, I like "if you will."
I know. I just want it tit for tat.
We didn't get anywhere with this, though.
We don't need to get places.
Great. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. We're stuck.
Okay, so we realize while we're sitting awkwardly in this tiny movie theater, holy shit, we can go have like 3.5 hours to ourselves.
Yeah.
When does this happen? On a weekend?
Never.
Daytime? Like unplanned? A sitter's not showing up? This
Yep.
is amazing.
Yeah.
And so we walked over to a store, looked for stuff, didn't find it, went home.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's all you got to say.
Oh, yeah. We went home. Oh, yeah.
Then we played
Played Tetris at home.
Oh, yeah.
No interruptions. No, kids needing attention, which I don't know why when we play Tetris is the prime time that they need
God.
attention. Then
Went to a bar.
Went to a fucking bar.
I
Who
mean,
does that?
But look, what we did our 2 of my favorite things and 3 of your favorite things. I don't really like going to bars. I don't like drinking these days.
You don't like drinking, but that place is more your place than mine.
Oh, yeah, because we played a game there.
So I want to talk about this. It's a good thing that we had OYAD before this because you were playing a game called Ice Cold Beer, which is basically a stand-up kind of arcade game version of the Labyrinth game, which is like the box where you try to get the silver ball through the maze.
Yeah, it's like Labyrinth meets, not pinball, but it's
Plonko.
something like that.
But anyway, you are so skilled at Labyrinth.
I'm good at putting little silver balls in holes.
What a special, specific skill. But you know, up at the cabin, we have Labyrinth.
Yeah.
You can do it with your feet. I actually have video of you doing it with your feet.
Not that well. In my youth, I really could do it pretty well with my feet.
But you can just do it and win it every time with your hands.
I'm
it's
really good
shocking.
At it. Yeah.
And so you also are so good at this ice cold beer game. And I also got video of it because I was like, holy shit. It's so hot watching you do these games. And I'm wondering, do you think this is connected to you having ADHD?
What?
How good you are at that? Like, it's crazy.
Why would that have anything to do with ADHD?
I don't know. I'm just trying to figure you out.
Oh, I will say, though, shout out to
As a million people.
comments that I got about my bleeps and bloops and how I just make noises all the time. That is an ADHD thing, which makes a ton of sense.
It makes so much sense. And I do have to say, it makes me have more compassion for it. Like yesterday playing Tetris, you were humming.
I caught myself too.
You did?
Yeah, and I stopped, but I knew that you would hurt. I mean, now I know that you always hear any of my bleeps and bloops. Wait, why? Okay, so you were turned on watching me play Ice Cold Beer.
Well, I was just like, this is so hot.
It's a good thing we had OYAD before that. Why? I don't understand the math on that. You wouldn't have been able to control yourself at the bar? Is that what you're saying? There would have been an indecent exposure incident at the bar?
No, I don't know. Just like I wasn't, my animalistic instinct wasn't turned, you know.
It was kind of embarrassing how, like, not turned on you were acting, how proud you were acting during the game. Like, I could feel you, like, turning around the bar to be like, is anybody seeing this? You know, but, like, you know what's funny, though? That bar used to... And I couldn't find it, but on the, you know, the blackboards with the white letters where it had like the different beers and stuff.
Yeah.
There used to be, it was either a high score or it was just if you got to level 10, you'd get a free beer.
On Ice Cold Beer?
Yeah, but I couldn't see it in there, which I'm wondering if too many people got really good at it. Because back in the day, I'd been to that bar where I did see someone that was like the shit at that game. So maybe too many people got too good and they were giving away too many beers.
Yeah, too much free.
But anyways, I could feel you feeling proud.
I was
you
like,
were giving me like, you gave me a couple kisses while I was playing, like on my cheek, which was like kind of embarrassing for some reason. like, you know, I don't know.
Oh my God.
I mean, thanks.
I had a daytime beer. When's the last time I had a daytime beer?
I don't know.
So anyway, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
What a day. Now, I had the thought as we were walking from the bar to the movie theater. Now, I know that there are lots of people out there, and I've been aware of this from the day we became parents, basically. Mm-hmm. That like live their normal lives and are going out all the time and bringing the kids random places all the time. And like they seem to have a very active kind of life where it's different from ours. Where
in what way?
I feel like there are people who are like out and about on a Saturday and they have 7 different pit stops on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And one of those is the bar where kids are also allowed to be.
Yeah.
And one of those is the other place where kids can be. And I don't know. We just don't operate that way. We're not out and about doing things.
We're good for like one thing a day.
We're good for one thing a day. And it's usually revolving around the kids. It's usually like a birthday party or a game or some event like that,
Yeah.
it's very rarely about you and me. In fact, we don't even barely take our kids on like errands very often. We kind of schedule those around the kids, which I don't think is great, but
Yeah.
it makes our lives are very kid focused. And I remember when Teddy was 3 months old, and my dear friend, Vanessa Ragland, came over with her baby, Oliver.
Yeah.
And she at the time was in the Groundlings Sunday Company or
That's right.
something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I'm starting to get back into it. And I was like, you are? Because I was still just kind of in a dazed cloud. And I said, well, so, is John home with Oliver for that time? Because are you pumping, all of that stuff? And she was like, no, I just take him. And my jaw dropped through our floor onto the crawl space underneath our house, because that was when I realized, oh, Teddy's got colic. Like Teddy's crying 24 hours a day. So I couldn't go do things.
Sure.
That's kind of when this all started. Now I have.
So you laying all of that resentment onto your daughter right now,
no,
officially?
I'm not resenting, and here's why.
Okay.
And Teddy, if you're listening to this someday, listening back, I wouldn't change a thing, even the colic. That's all part of who you are. And it bonded us immensely. So I realized yesterday, being out and about, that some people live that life, but I'm kind of glad we don't, because it makes me feel like we have the best of both worlds. Like, we're having this time that is kid focused because this is this time in their lives. And then when we become empty nesters, we're going to start to lean into that stuff way more. And it will ease the sting of not having our kids around. Whereas the people who just never stopped doing these things. Fools. Because then their kids are going to leave and they're going to go, none of this, like, there's no benefit.
What's interesting about your thesis is I think you're missing one of the things that's currently happening with those families that you're talking about.
Yeah.
For example, we did have to take our daughter for basketball pictures, and I was talking to another mom.
We did have to.
And that really fucking threw a wrench in our day, because that was 2 things in one day, right? There's a birthday party.
And they're on the same street, basically.
They were within walking distance of each other. But I was talking to another mom there, and I asked what she had going on afterwards, and she said, sort of to what you're getting, like, oh man, what a crazy day. And then she rattled off what had already transpired before, which was they had
17 more things than what we've done.
One of their other kids had pictures, but they didn't go awry because someone didn't show up in time. Then they're going to go see a nephew's game. Then this. So it was a much fuller day, but it was all focused around kids stuff.
Interesting.
You know
Well,
what I
yeah,
mean?
there are
And if there's,
lots
like,
of
lunches
people
and
like
stuff.
that.
Yeah.
But we know our limits. Like, and I don't like being overscheduled. I think that we're kind of on the same page with that. We need downtime. And also, I hate to feel this way, but just how crazy this year has felt and how everything feels a little like crinkly. The texture of your face.
Okay. Move on. Just move on.
Okay.
Thanks.
The more you're out doing, the more chances there are for things to go wrong.
Well, that's no way to live life. That's no way to live life.
We did also have friends over for breakfast yesterday, our dear friends who we love, Pete and Casey. And as Pete said as a joke, but I think that there's merit to it.
Oh, I did like this.
If you don't try, you can't fail. So
Good.
you can kind of apply that to life,
Yeah.
If you're not out and about, you're not getting rear-ended. You're not, I guess this is how people become
But also, if you're
shut-ins.
not out and about, you're not getting rear-ended. You know what I mean?
At the bar.
Glass. Right, exactly. So here's my question for you.
Yes.
Here's the thing. It's just 2 different types of people. Because we have good friends that on the weekends are go.
And that's how they love to live.
They love it. And, the one advantage to that style is you blink and the day's over. And sometimes you just want the day to be over. Am I right? Am I right?
That sounds so depressing. You're like, I just want to get through this goddamn day as fast as I can.
But doesn't that sort of resonate? And then I'm arguing for those people now. So you get to that feeling quicker. And also when you do look back at your day, you're like, oh, I did all this stuff. So you can feel good about that too.
That's true.
So it's like, it's a lot.
It's such a fine line between I want to get through this life because we only have.
It's not this life. It's just the day.
I know, but a life is made up of days.
That's true.
And you only have so many. But there are days that you're like, I just got to get to the end. Like, I just want to get to that moment when I'm sinking into bed.
Oh, don't you? Isn't there an allure to get to 9 p.m.
Oh.
like many a day?
Many a day. But what I will say is I think these are the good days. And I hope that will continue for on. And, you know, we have choices in our life to make it so. But I feel like these ages of these kids, like
kids.
these appendages that grew. No, I really do. I think right now is the fun time.
Yeah.
And it's only a matter of time before they don't want to hang out with us. Like
I know. And
these are the good days.
Well, we're getting to that point that I'm getting nervous of. We are going to be craving so much more time with them that they are not going to be craving.
Exactly.
Us.
So that's what I'm saying. This brings it full circle. I'm glad to be the people who don't do that much stuff and our lives revolve around our kids.
Those people are doing stuff with their kids, though. You're just saying
but
you
when
would
you're
prefer
at the
to
bar
be
with your kids, you're basically like, I'm at the bar and my kids are here. You're not like
You're using one example. I think in your head, everyone's going to a bar with their kids on the weekends. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what the fuck?
I don't know. I feel like
Those people are, they're getting drunk and they're not paying attention. And sure, the kids are playing, a board game at the bar, but is that cool? Who's watching the kids?
Well, also, someone recently said to me, because I'm an extrovert in some ways, but I need alone time and I need home time.
A lot of it.
A lot of it, I guess.
I think so.
And it's like an ambivert. Hang on, let me look that up.
No, gross. Ambivert.
Ambivert.
It
sounds so pervy. Ambivert.
Wait, why do you think it's pervy?
I don't know. Amber Alert.
What the fuck does that even mean? What the fuck?
Andy.
What the fuck?
I actually didn't think it sounded pervy, but you were behaving like it sounded pervy.
That's you being pervy because I wasn't being pervy at all.
Why did you say don't say that?
It just sounds gross.
Why?
Not for any pervy reasons.
Well, that's what I would think. Okay, an ambivert is someone who has characteristics of both an introvert and an extrovert. Ambiverts listen and talk. Great. Good. I need to pull it together. Here, take us out.
Okay, you have two options for your road out of this hell. Are you ready? One is I'm going to make you cry, all right? And the other is I'm going to gross you out. So your eyes are already a little watery. Do you want to just get the tears out now? Or do you want to be grossed out first?
I'd rather be grossed out and end with crying so that I'm not...
Yeah, because I am going to make you cry.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm not saying that in a malicious way.
I'm already about to cry.
I'm not saying that in a malicious way.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I do want to talk about something that I'm going to bring it up and you're going to be like, I don't want to talk about this, but I wanted to talk to you about it before something adjacent to it happened.
Okay.
That was really bad. Okay. And that you're not going to want to talk about.
Okay.
But don't think I'm bringing this up just because I want to talk about that. I wanted to talk about this before that happened.
Okay.
That's confusing. So I went to the mall the other day and I got Five Guys. The burger joint.
God. And
here's two things happened. I'm going to get to the thing that I was curious to ask you about, and then I'll get to what happened in our lives together. But Five Guys, they give you the meal in a brown paper lunch bag, right? There's no trays. It's just a brown old school bag. And their fries are really good, but they're pretty greasy. And that bag gets greasy. Like, so envision a greasy brown paper bag.
Yeah.
I always have this dilemma when I get Five Guys, whether it's at the restaurant or the mall or whatnot. So I'm looking for my seat at the mall food court, and it's gross because, you know, there's just like people's crap everywhere.
Can I
It's
stop
disgusting.
you right there?
Yeah.
You don't get to have it's gross reaction. No, I mean, you're going to a Five Guys in a mall food court. Like, everything about this experience. This is why I'm like, I actually resent you for what happened afterwards.
No, give me a second to explain myself.
Because you have to know what you're signing up for.
No, that's what you don't understand, and I'll get to that. Okay. And number one, just because I'm going to Five Guys, I know you like to judge people so harshly. That doesn't mean I'm a monster and I'm not going to clean up my crumbs and like.
I'm not judging anyone.
But you're saying I'm at the food court getting Five Guys. Who am I to judge people leaving these messes at all these tables?
It's that food court. Okay? If you go
so
into
those people are leaving those messes because they go to that food court?
It's like saying, like, I went to a street vendor in the New York City subway system and it was so gross. There were all these people around and like it's dirty. It's like, yeah, you're in the New York subway system.
Maybe that's a fair point, but I still wish that people would clean up I wish people would clean up after themselves more.
I wish you had worked in restaurants at all. I think everyone should to know
people
that
are monsters.
Yes, people are so disgusting.
They are.
And when they have license to be disgusting, like when you're in a place where the expectation is not pristine,
yeah,
they go to the like base denominator, and then also the food court places there. It's not just contained to the eating area. Like, those places are also part of this ecosystem where it's okay to be disgusting. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sort of.
Like, in New York City, the restaurant I worked at, which was a fine establishment. I mean, it did have like peanut shells on the floor type place. But
that is signaling make a fucking mess.
That's true. I mean, yes, objectively, yeah, that's very true. But the kitchen staff worked very hard. I mean, there were high standards. The manager, Rogelio, like worked very hard to keep it clean. It still is hard to keep clean.
I don't need to let's not get into the kitchens, please.
Okay, well, carry on.
Anyways, so what I'm thinking about while I'm eating this lunch is, God, these tables are so dirty. And I wish I had a tray to put down because the paper bag.
The grease is a conduit.
Well, this is my question for you. What is the porousness of a brown paper bag that's greasy? If I put bag down on table and there's loose fries at the bottom of the bag, which always happens with Five Guys, are those fries in some way actually touching table, even though there's greasy brown bag? Or is that greasy brown bag enough of a layer between the fries, or the fries touching the table?
The grease basically becomes a slip and slide for germs and bacteria.
Are you just trying to be funny?
No.
Or do you think maybe that's
Oh no, I think that's true.
a possibility? Because I do think now we're getting into
You're better
territory.
off with a bag that has no grease. The grease basically is a doorway for bacteria and germs to slip and slide its way up to your fries.
Okay. Now, forget about grease for a second. If there was, can I make it really gross just for a second to prove my point? Mm-hmm. You had your favorite meal ever. You're stranded on a desert island and there's a plate of your favorite meal, okay? And someone comes over and puts a poop in a brown paper bag on top of the meal, okay? And then there's also a poop in a Ziploc bag on top of the food, and you have to pick one of the plates.
Ziploc.
Without a doubt, right?
Yes.
Now, is it because there genuinely is a difference?
Yes.
Or is it all just in our heads? There's no protection with the paper bag, is there?
It's porous. It's paper. Yeah. There's a reason why, like, anything that wants to keep everything in is plastic usually. Some glass is another option that I would pick over a paper bag. But think about Tupperware, medical supplies.
None of those are paper.
Okay.
So here's where I'm going. While I'm eating Five Guys, I am a little stressed out. Like, God, it's kind of gross that these fries are touching the table, essentially. But I still want some of those fries, and I have a couple, and I'm kind of getting grossed out. But here's...
You don't even know. The fries, like, fell on the floor back in the Five Guys kitchen.
God.
Like,
here's what's wrong. And this might be my last trip ever to Five Guys. And I should have known better.
Andy? I should hope so. Like, it might be. Knowing what's coming down the pipeline, I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Can we reassess after I tell you the story?
Okay.
Because I should have known better.
I experienced the
I know you
story.
did. I should have known better.
Okay.
Here's why. I could have prevented this, I think, from happening. It's not because the fries in my mind the germs went through the bag. I don't think my fries got contaminated by table, okay? Because of the porous bag.
Okay.
I'm eating the burger. I like Five Guys, so I've had many of these burgers in my life. Something ain't right with this burger.
Ew.
And I'm thinking, like, did they change the patties or something? I just should have known. Like, I should have stopped eating the burger because this was not a regular Five Guys burger. Something was kind of off.
Let this be a lesson when you notice that food is off.
Mm-hmm. Stop.
I feel like I had this recently happen to me with something where I was like, Stop. Especially when it's something like meat or seafood or like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and so here's the thing. It didn't taste bad. That's a big thing. If there's something you like eating and you know what it tastes like and it really tastes off and bad, throw it out, right? It wasn't necessarily bad. It just wasn't right, you know? But I kept going.
Yeah.
So fast forward, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours, I'm out here in the studio and I had just a toot, okay? I tooted once and that toot contaminated this room in a way that almost knocked me out. And your own farts don't do that to you. You know what I mean? That's very rare. And so that was like, oh boy, something's really wrong. And I knew what had happened in that moment.
Yeah.
And then I went inside and I should have told you. And I got ahead of it. I thought I turned the fan on and I opened the window wide open.
This was so annoying. And we need to set up the kids' bathroom in a way that this was kind of my final straw. Because one of our children was homesick that day. Mm-hmm. So they're on the couch. Mm-hmm. I only have so many places to work.
Yeah, sure.
My back's been a little tweaked lately, so I need to lay down. So I'm laying down in our room. Mm-hmm. And when you come in and use the bathroom in our room, it is hugely disruptive. And when you come in and lose your goddamn ass for hours, like... I couldn't be there and I had nowhere to go. I went into our son's room and laid down on the bed.
Let's not make this all about you. This is a once in every 2-year situation where I was in pain and yes, I destroyed the whole home. I mean, it was unbearable and I understand that for you.
Yeah.
Something had happened in my body. But it was not pleasurable for me, and I was cramping. It hurt
because you were so grumpy afterwards.
Well, I was sick.
I came out
and I
said,
form of food poisoning.
I said, "What did you have for lunch?" And you said, "I don't want to talk about it."
Yeah, because I didn't want you to you think you would know. See, this is what I think. I say I had Five Guys and you're like, well, there you go. Of course. Guess what? I've had Five Guys hundreds of times. My mistake was I had Five Guys and it tasted off and I should have stopped right there.
Andy.
That's the difference.
Promise me.
I'll never have Five Guys.
Yes.
I cannot make that promise. It's good. But it's going to be a long, long time. A long time.
Okay. Gross.
Yeah.
Okay, I have some big news.
Great.
And a bit of a mea culpa, similar to your Captain Kangaroo. I was really, I think, being very rude towards...
If you're going to apologize to people with any sort of piercing or that don't like to wear shoes, I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
I have no apologies for piercings. And also, like, you do you. I love it. This is towards the unshod community, which have my full support.
Okay.
I still don't totally understand the choice, especially in a urban setting where there could be...
Unshod people are people that go around barefoot.
Yes.
Yeah.
As someone pointed out, so close to unshod.
Yeah. Love it.
But I was kind of giving them some gruff last time that this came up, maybe last week, I don't remember. But then I was fed several all at once. It's like the universe was wanting to set me straight.
Yeah.
That there is a large and alarming epidemic of people, younger people, not like super young, I mean over 40, having fatal falls. And I'm not even talking about the people who are standing on cliffs taking selfies, which, as we know, is more fatal. More people die that way than shark attacks every year. I'm talking about people who fall. And then if you have a terrible fall where something bad happens, like you break a bone or break a hip or something, your, unfortunately, chances of dying then within the next year or so.
That's for above a certain age when you're like over 70.
But it applies also to younger people.
Not in the same way though.
Okay. Well, you're
I do know.
you're just guessing.
I'm not guessing
You're
because we've
making
literally
assumptions.
looked at this research for older people.
Yeah,
I
but
don't think
have
it's
you
the same
done the
thing.
research for younger people? No, you're guessing.
So if you
well,
are
I
in your
have to look it
40s,
up.
if you're in your 40s and you have a bad fall, it's not going to be the same as you usually die within 5 years if you're over
40s.
70 or 80 or something
Does
like that.
it increase your chance of death? Okay, you're right.
Anyways, so
Okay, whatever. So, but you don't want to be falling. And the thing that changes it it's a serious risk, especially for elderly. Osteoporosis, all of the frailties. The two things that change this risk the most, I've mentioned grip strength before.
you're a big grip strength proponent.
Toe strength.
Toe strength.
And guess what you do
Toe
to
balance.
strengthen those toesies?
Walk in the sand,
Oh, I bet that would be very good. Honestly,
imagine.
probably very good.
walk in the grass.
You're not wearing comfy, cozy shoes all the livelong day.
Okay.
You need to be shoes off. Now, I think that ideally, like indoors in a safe place, but not necessarily. If you have access to areas, fields,
Yeah.
you want to be unshod.
It's interesting. I'm still getting fed unshod Reddit and my Reddit, and it's kind of fascinating to watch the threads because people are like, heading to England, is it going to be cool for me in the airports and on the plane and in London while I'm there to be barefoot? And I'm like, whoa, you're really doing this.
Wow, yeah.
But you're just saying, hey, it's cool to be barefoot sometimes because it helps with toe strength.
Yeah, to me, that thing, and I'm kind of walking back my apology, but like I need to be barefoot in an airport is one of two things. And one I have a lot of compassion for and the other I don't. One is a sensory issue. Like having stuff on your feet really feels it's a sensory thing, which I have compassion for. Two is attention.
Okay. The fact that like we're here now after, I don't know, 1 or 2 episodes of talking about this, you making these fake apologies and then rescinding them and then casting new judgments is just so rich. I don't think you understand the unshod community at all. Like at all.
Okay. Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm switching gears.
Great.
Because you're right. What do you think the leading cause of death is for 40-year-olds?
Oh, I think this is really dark.
It is. Sure. I mean, it's the leading cause of death, so of course it's dark. Oh, you think it might be intentional?
No. I'm going to say, I'll go heart disease.
Unintentional injuries, meaning
Oh, accidents?
motor vehicle accidents, opioid overdoses, and unintentional falls.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So you want that toe strength.
You do. Okay. I want to make you cry now, not because this is not malicious at all. I think it's an interesting thing to talk about, but to get you there, you might well up a little bit. Okay?
I'm scared.
Can I play you something?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let me hold this up to the microphone. Ready?
Dad?
Before you start, I just want you to know how very, very proud Mom and I are of what you've done. Just done incredible. No matter what happens, we're very proud of you.
Thanks. I'm proud of you too.
We were watching Shark Tank last night, and there was this moment where a woman was in business with her father, and she has to pause to go ask her father, kind of, is he okay? Oh, I love how emotional this is making me, but I think this is very sweet. She needs to ask if it's okay to do this deal, basically.
And I just want to prep this with this has been a long road for her. What was the
7 years.
$1
$1 million they've invested in the business.
And it's a very clever idea. It's like snap onesies for babies.
Mm-hmm.
But she has no sales. Like the business hasn't done well yet. She has a lot of patents, which I think is probably what a lot of the $1 million went into. But
she's worked hard on this, so it seems legit. She's worked hard on this.
She's worked hard. Her dad is a partner. I imagine at some point in time, she went to her dad and said, I really believe in this. I'm $800,000 in the hole on this. And the dad said, sweetheart, I have $500,000 I want to put in because I believe in you so much.
Okay.
Because he's in too.
He's in too. Yeah. He's a partner.
And he's 35%. So he bought in on that, supporting her and going, you're going to take this the distance. I believe in you. But behind closed doors, having conversations with mommy, going,
whoa, you're taking this in a direction that I did not see coming at all. Go on.
So little, what's her name? Leslie? I don't know. Little Leslie, she's $1 million in on this. And it just breaks my heart. She's worked so hard. And is it okay if I put $500,000 in to show her support? And the mom's going, do you really think it's going to work? Like, you're going to have to do it assuming that that's going bye-bye. And the dad's like, it could go bye-bye. I mean, these are real conversations they're having, right?
Okay.
But we want to support her. It is a good idea. I see it being a good idea.
So does the dad believe in this or no? In your mind?
Yes, but also I think has the awareness of someone's put $1 million into something and there's been no return yet.
Okay.
Then it's quite risky.
Okay.
It's an investment only a supportive dad would make. And that's part of why this is so moving to me.
Whoa. All right. I wanted to revisit this because I thought you had a different take on it. I thought this is just interesting because there is just something about a father's approval in general.
A father being proud of...
pulls at the heartstrings.
A father being proud of their daughter.
There's something very special about that.
It really moves me.
Now... But this is so fucked in my mind now because your backstory is he kind of didn't even want to, that him and the mom didn't have any faith in it.
No. Oh my God, no.
But that's what you just said.
It actually makes it, you don't understand. It actually makes it more moving. It's not just blind faith. It's that he knowingly fucking jumped off this cliff for her financially and is making a choice to give her unconditional support.
Okay. So is that the part? Okay. To me, the unconditional part isn't the heartwarming tug on my heartstrings. It's that
He's proud of her.
he's proud part.
Well, I think they go hand in hand.
Really?
And I think you can be proud of your daughter for sticking. I mean, I think he is proud of her. Yes, that's a huge part of
Well,
it.
he is. He said that before you say anything, I want to tell you how proud me and Mom are.
And what a gesture.
Now,
She could very easily have been calling to say, I didn't get a deal. That was highly likely.
and in that scenario, he's still proud. Are you getting emotional for the same or different reasons?
Same.
Same. Because, listen, when we saw that clip, I mean, I instantly looked at you. You were behind me, and I knew you'd be crying. And I was getting choked up, too, because you can hear it in their voices, right? Like, there's something
Yes.
that happens in there. To me, though, I'm wondering if this resonates for you at all. And I know it's a harder thing because your parents have both passed away, so it might be a little harder to...
They have. What?
Okay.
Wait.
I don't want to play this game.
Okay.
I love my parents so much.
We all do.
When it's talking about the feelings I might get in my body, the difference between my mom saying she's proud of me versus my dad.
Yes.
I'm going to get more warm and fuzzies when my dad says it.
Of course.
I don't know if that's a gendered thing or whatnot. In some ways, I feel like had you maybe not even grown up with a father, you might still hold that trope higher in your mind, not even knowing what it feels like. Is there something in our society that puts a weight on the idea of the father's approval? And piggybacking on that, there's something about the father-daughter approval that takes it to the nth degree.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely gendered. I mean, and I even think this might be true in our little nuclear family. Like, I am nonstop gushing over the kids and how much I love them and how proud I am of them. And not to say you're withholding at all. You tell them as well. But you're a tougher nut to crack in some ways, whereas
sure.
my sense of pride is just like bare for everyone to see all the live long day.
Right.
And that, in my family,
Rang true as well.
that was very true. My dad was very reserved.
Yeah.
He also worked really, really hard and became very successful in his field. And to have him feeling proud of me would have been really cool.
I'm sure he's super proud of you. Now, do you think that your dad, for example, me, for example, and just the idea of like dads not being, I'll use some real
Super
big
forthcoming.
Yeah, I'm going to
maybe?
be big generalizations here.
Yeah, of
Not
course.
super forthcoming, not as emotionally engaged with their own emotions. Like just all of those kind of tropes.
Yeah, some things tied up in our society's toxic masculinity, maybe, or
all
whatever.
of that stuff. Is that what's fueling this?
Yeah.
Most likely. Now, though, in a household where, let's say, it could be there's a mother that's emotionally just doesn't really acknowledge stuff or whatnot
Which
your whole life, which happens all the
obviously
time.
Yes.
But let's say the dad does,
Mm-hmm.
when the mom gives you that proud, does it
don't-
hit the exact same way or is it still different?
And I do think this is like a double standard kind of. I think it hits different because the expectation on mothers is to be like have unconditional love and nurturing and support. So if you have an emotionally unavailable mother, and this isn't, I'm not saying this is right. I think this is just true.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't match society's expectations, it's on the mother, really. Like, if the mother then is like, I'm so proud of you, I'm sure that means a lot to the child, but it's not like this win. It's like, oh, the mom finally came to her
it's almost
senses,
like
sort of.
it's almost like the fathers in this cliche. There's a built-in tolerance. This is the norm, right? So then when they're proud, oh my God. Where the mom, it's like, well, fuck you. You know, why were you never supportive?
Exactly.
That's a great point. Whoa.
Which is not fair.
No.
But that, I think, if you're really distilling this, but yeah, there is something. I mean, those videos online of like the daughter getting into medical school and the dad's reaction, or like, and especially when it's kind of set up, or you get the sense that this father's really reserved.
Oh yeah, the stoic dad crumbling. Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh my
It
God.
is beautiful. And let's be honest too, in some versions of this, it's kind of worth it. If you never saw dad get emotional and cry your whole life, and then he starts crying when you get into medical school,
Oh my
God, that's some gas to keep you going for a long time.
There was one I saw recently, and it did seem like a stoic father, and he's holding the newborn grandbaby, and they tell him that the baby's named after him.
Oh God.
I'm done. Cooked.
So good. So good. Now, we are both saying this from a perspective, too,
Of having very,
supportive moms,
like the moms,
like showering us with,
yes.
like, could do no wrong.
unwarranted
Right.
love and support.
So I wonder if there are listeners here and that grew up in any sort of type of version of a family, but that are like, oh no, my withholding mom, like it was the one time she did this. I
just had
don't know.
like, I don't want you to do this, but I was just like, what if I challenged you the next time you talk to Malcolm, and if you would record it, say, Dad, are you proud of me?
Well, here's the thing. That's a great challenge, but I don't think he can ask for it.
You can't. It's so cringy. It makes
Yeah.
it, yeah.
Well, I don't even think it's cringy necessarily.
To me, I would be like, oh God. Because you go, yeah.
I've always been proud. Yeah, what's the dad supposed to say?
And
well,
then
that's
what
when
are you
there's
proud of me for?
and then it's just crickets.
Mayor?
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad we ended on that little journey. I hope that was okay. I just thought I wanted to talk about it.
Of course.
Okay.
All right. Well, good night.
Good night.